Hi, this is Jundo. Welcome to Tree Leaf. Today's talk is nice because it connects with what we've been talking about on some other days recently about this list of practices, of perfections of a bodhisattva. Some of which, for example, are charity, practicing the precepts. Yesterday we talked about effort, and patience, and way down the list, one thing is meditation. And there are all kinds of other lists of Buddhist practices, chanting or studying sutras or dancing, all kinds of things you can do, of which meditation is just one. So someone asked Dogen, hey Dogen, if there's all this other stuff that Buddhists do, why do you put so much emphasis on Zazen? Why do you say Zazen is the heart of the Buddhist teachings? It's more than that. It is the essence of the Buddhist teachings. Well, Dogen gives a couple of responses here. One thing he says is, and we'll talk about this in the coming days, when you have these lists of other Buddhist practices, they're wonderful. And Master Dogen also practiced the precepts. He also chanted. But you have to understand that Zazen has a special place as the heart that brings it all to life. The spoke of the wheel that lets the whole wheel turn. I mean, makes a good case that Zazen has a special place in Buddhism. After all, the Buddha, you've seen a Buddha statue, he's always sitting there cross-legged in the Zazen pose. He sat under the Bodhi tree. He meditated and meditated and meditated, or that's something else we're going to discuss in a couple of days, whether that word meditation is the right word. But according to Master Dogen, he practiced Zazen, and then that's how he began our practice that is more than just a practice. It's the essence, the heart that brings it all to flower. But Master Dogen also today makes this point. He says, when Bodhidharma, that's the fellow who brought our tradition from India to China, when he got to China, people had so much forgotten or misunderstood meditation that they were shocked that this guy was meditating like that, or zazening. So they started to call him the Zen guy. And Master Dogen says, you shouldn't call him the Zen guy because he was practicing what Buddhists should practice. It's like saying that this guy is a bus driver who drives buses, or a doctor who treats people. I mean, that's what bus drivers do. They drive buses. You don't have to say that. So the fact that they had to call this guy the Zazen guy, which became Zen when they shortened the term, the Zazen guy, shows that they had kind of forgotten about Zazen, or didn't really value it as it should be valued. So he says that tells you something. There is no Zen school. We're practicing Buddhism, the Buddha's way. Now, that's one of his points. Next time, I'm also going to tell you why he draws a distinction between Zazen and just any kind of meditation or concentration that's practiced in Buddhism. There's all kinds of practices of meditation and concentration, reaching states in Buddhism. That's not what Master Dogen meant by Zazen. So I'm going to talk about that next time. When I started to do this at BeliefNet, I had some discussion with the editorial committee because they wanted to call it Zen meditation. And I said, you shouldn't really use that word meditation. That's a loaded term. And tomorrow we're going to discuss why. Meditation is not necessarily what Master Dogen meant by Zazen, even though it looks kind of the same. We're sitting there cross-legged. but it's a little different than types of meditation practiced in other schools of Buddhism. Anyway, we'll talk about that next time. But anyway, there is no Zen, you see. There is no Zazen, because we're just doing what the Buddha did. We're just doing the heart of the Buddha's teachings, letting it beat, beat, beat. And you know what comes next.